Jennie, first of all, fantastic to see you again and to be safe and well during what has been a difficult and challenging year. Thank you for returning to host the virtual this year British Wills Probate Awards in 2020. Very special afternoon, wasn't it? Recognising some incredible achievements during what's been quite a difficult year. Even though the virtual event was different to what we've been used to, it's amazing what technology can enable, isn't it? Technology's obviously played a large part in the pandemic. How have you seen technology change over the years, and what do you think that you would have done without it during the pandemic?
Well, the world's in a pretty bad place, there's no doubt about it, but how much worse would it have been if we didn't have this technology we now depend on? Goodness me, things have changed so quickly. I remember saying to a friend, text, have you heard of this text thing? You write it down. I mean, why would I do that? I'd just pick up the phone. And now, well, we have a whole new vocabulary, don't we? We Zoom and we Skype and we FaceTime and we WhatsApp, even the royal family, even the Queen. And I think actually we've seen a more natural side of the royal family because of all this Zooming and what have you. So it's been great. Technology has been the saviour for our social interaction, I think, and also for the economy. I mean, it's stumbling, but it'd be so much worse without the technology we have.
I have this fantastic mental image now of the Queen doing FaceTime or WhatsApp, perhaps calling Prince William or Prince Harry, probably Prince Harry, to be honest. Anyway, would want to be a part of that call, could be interesting. Now, you mentioned during a Woman in Wills event that you recently had a lot of kit delivered to your house. You've undoubtedly had to work with a lot of different technology during your career in radio and television. Would you say that's been a positive relationship?
Yes, I have managed actually to do a lot of TV from here in my home in Devon. Well, actually, for me, it's been brilliant because normally I have to drive 250 miles to London and back to do a little TV interview. And now I can broadcast from my dining room. I can broadcast from the lounge, from the library, anywhere. I've done Lorraine, Good Morning Britain, the BBC, all from here. So it's changed a great deal. Obviously, the standard, the quality of the picture isn't so great, but that's what people accept now. So for me, it's been wonderful. I don't like dealing with technology though. That's why I was so glad to get into television, leave radio, because in radio, in my days, a radio reporter, I had to do the whole lot, crawling around hotel rooms in Australia at dead of night, pulling out all the sockets from the walls and trying to put croc clips on the right wires, and I always got it wrong, and it was a nightmare. So I'm much happier in television, where basically if you have to do anything, it's put one jack in one hole, and I can just about do that.
Well, talk about mental images. Now I'm thinking about you crawling around a hotel room in Australia. That's certainly an interesting image for you. Probably not so much fun, I would have thought. Anyway, moving right along. Any learnings from you, Jennie, over lockdown that you think you'll take forward with you?
Well, I think we've all learned really that we can get off this Ferris wheel we're normally on, chasing each other through a day-to-day life. And, you can stop, you can stare, you can walk into the garden, if you're lucky enough to have a garden. Deadhead the marigolds, look at the world. No, I know I've been very lucky because I live in a beautiful valley in Devon, and it's been very difficult for a lot of other people. But I do think that maybe there's been a chance to reassess the pace at which we live life. Personally, I've relearned the piano, and it's been so therapeutic to sit and try and learn some new tunes and relearn some old tunes, and I've loved doing that. And I've started knitting and all sorts of things. And do you know one other thing? Maybe you, if you're lucky, have learned that you quite like the person you're locked down with and you've lived with for years but been too busy to spend time with. So there have been some benefits, but for many people it has been extraordinarily tough.
Well, first of all, Jennie, your place in Devon sounds absolutely fantastic, and good on you for learning the piano. I had this great plan to get to 50 press-ups a day. I got to about 5, perhaps 10, and then put on 5 kilos. So I think you've definitely beat me on that score. Now let's just have a quick chat about wills, shall we? 63% of adults in the UK don't have a will. And you've done a lot of work. You're obviously hosting this event. You do a lot of public speaking. What would you say would be the message to people, and how do we get that message across to them that they need to get a will?
Death it's a hard thing, and it's a hard subject to broach. I know that. And it's obviously clearly pretty hard for the person who's dying. But you know what? Maybe we should try to emphasize that it's hard for the people who are left behind. They're going to have to cope not only with the grief of losing you, but also, if you don't take the appropriate steps, they're going to have to clear up the financial mess you've left behind. I think it's just so beneficial. I know from my own parents dying that everything was in order because they'd left wills, and there was no family dispute, there was no tension, everything was quite clearly worked out. And I just think that's a huge comfort to the people who are left behind. And it should be a comfort to the person who's going to die as well, because you know you've left your affairs in good order. So how to get the message across? Maybe, I don't know, maybe we need some kind of saying, some kind of catchphrase. You guys are going to be much better at that than me, but I can come up with, don't be a pill, make a will. There you go. Do better than that.
Don't be a pill, get a will. I like that. People, you heard that here first. That is going to be something that is going to be out in the Twitterverse or somewhere else in social media, and you can track it back to Jennie Bond here. So look, that is brilliant. Jennie, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it. It's been absolutely lovely to connect with you again. Hopefully next year we can do that in person and get some more of those selfies that I can boast to my friends in New Zealand about. Have a great time in the meantime, and we look forward to seeing you in 2021.